Hey guys, Mubarak here in Penny Stock. Hope you're doing well. In this episode, I want to talk to you guys about how you can get started trading stocks. All right, I want to go a little bit more in depth about the specifics, the basis and basics of stocks, shares, what's the difference, even if there is one. Um, what are the differences between stocks and shares, and really want to discuss some of the fundamentals of the stock market. All right, so we're going to cover all of that in this episode. Stay tuned. And finally, we're going to end with the discussion of stock price fluctuations, what really affects the price of a stock, and then how to buy and how to sell. So, let's get right into it. What I want to start talking about is stocks, right? So, for those of you guys who are beginners, you should know that stocks are a very attractive alternative form of investment for people with not a lot of cash on hand, right? So, I mean, you have the hedge funds and the billionaires that are also buying hundreds of thousands, or actually millions and billions of dollars worth of stock. But the best thing about it is that you can get in without any barriers to entry. It's very easy to set up a trading account, which I did a few episodes back on the podcast. And, there's a certain amount of risk involved in participating in the stock market, but you can control that risk. And we're going to discuss how you can do that. So, the basics about stocks, right? Making informed purchases will always limit your liability, and that'll allow you to have better revenue than other traders, right? So, essentially, there's a different types of stock investments that you can be involved in, and the one that usually we get comfortable with or know is like common stock, right? So when you see a share on a public market, you can kind of see that. Um, you can kind of pretty much see that on a public market, you can buy and sell Facebook, Google, Twitter, Netflix, all of these stocks, and they go up and down on a daily basis. But when you're buying a share, I want you to understand that it's essentially buying ownership in the company. All right. The share is just a part of the whole of the company. So even though most people, think about it as if like they're doing a certain type of gamble, right? That's kind of what you think of when you think penny stocks. When you're buying a stock, it's actually a part of the actual company as a whole. So in that fashion, you can make sure that you are buying into the right type of investment. Like if you go the Warren Buffett method, right? He invested over 40 years, 50 years. He wasn't looking to do quick flips or quick trades. All right. And in that scenario, what he was looking for is very sustainable, very profitable businesses with a very good management team that he could trust to continue building out the business. So that's the type of investing he did, right? And so, I just want to go over some quick differences between the terminology of stocks and shares, just so you are a bit more familiar with it, okay? Because stocks will be the more of the concept of earning equity in the company, and usually they're paid up in full, right? The difference is that when you're buying shares or when you're given shares through a certain company, this is usually happening when you're an employee of the company. So say there's a startup. Startups usually tend to not have as much cash flow as more mature, Fortune 500, Fortune 1000 businesses. So what they do is that they'll give you a salary, right? But it'll tend to be either average or maybe even sometimes below average because the company can't sustain that type of cash flow, so that type of payroll that they would owe you. So instead, what they do is they also give you a portion of shares that'll usually be vested within the next year or so. Um, and so those shares are different, right? So when you're talking about shares in a company, that's one element. But what we're talking about in day trading and investing, and here at In Penny Stock, we're talking about actual trading, right? And so trading is when you're actually buying and selling stocks within the same day, within the same week, or even, having a plan that the stock price is going to be volatile enough to go up or down in a certain fashion that'll allow you to receive some type of profit or return. Okay? So, you know, in terms of stock price fluctuations, right? If you look at the stock market as one huge auction or one huge like exchange or auctioning body, that'll help you understand more about the stock market. Okay? The price doesn't actually reflect the true value of the company, The price is simply the demand in the market. So the more people want a stock, the higher its price is going to go up. And the more people want to get rid of a stock, the price will go down. So what this means, right? The reason this is important to understand is that you have to be wary that just because you're buying into a stock doesn't necessarily mean that you believe that the stock is going to go up in value or down in value, right? You're not really necessarily talking about the true enterprise value of the stock. You're just trying to figure out that your little widget that you own, those certain amount of shares or stocks that you bought in the company, that you're able to make a profit on that. Okay? So, the value of the company is usually discussed in a concept called market capitalization. And again, that is only the stock price multiplied by the number of shares outstanding. So you might hear certain companies with $1 billion, multi-billion-dollar market capitalizations. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's the exact value of the company. It's just one of the indicators to keep in mind. Okay? So, I hope that gave you guys a little bit more insight into the basics of stock trading. All right, just very intro level information about understanding why there's advantages in trading stocks and understanding what that even means. Okay? Basically, what you have to keep in mind of, and what we go more in depth at in Penny Stock University, is when you're buying and selling stocks, you need to make sure that there's a market for it. All right, that concept is known as liquidity. If you're liquid, that means liquid refers to cash, right? Cash is the best because you can buy and sell quickly. If you buy a house, you're not necessarily liquid because even though that house has an asset value, and say it could be even worth $500,000 or millions of dollars, the thing is that liquidity, that's what it's, the right term is, stands for how quickly you can convert it to cash so you can use it to buy and sell. All right? Cash is king. Cash is what you need to pay your debts, your bills, all that stuff. Right? If you have to pay off some debt, you can't just say, "Oh yeah, take like my bedroom in my house." That's not a real way of exchange, or at least not in most places. Um, and so the liquidity factor is very important, and that's what makes stocks such an interesting and attractive investment. Is that you can buy a stock in 5 seconds, and then you can also sell a stock pretty quickly, as long as you make sure that the stocks that you're buying and selling have an active market. Okay, so the key metric you want to keep in mind there is what are the volume of shares being traded. All right, at least you want to make sure that when you're looking at stocks and you're looking at every time, either you go to Yahoo Finance, or if you go to Finviz, that's finviz.com, or in Penny Stock itself, we have a great tool that's free. You just go to inpennystock.com/stocks, and you have a free stock screener there. And one of the metrics at the bottom of the price chart will be the amount of shares traded. All right, that's what volume is. So that is probably the most key component or metric that you have to keep in mind when you're looking to buy and sell stocks, because volume is going to determine how fast you can get in and out of the position. All right, the position meaning, when you buy a stock, that's your position. And then when you want to sell it, you're getting out of your position. So that's just the terminology that traders use, but that's definitely something that you want to keep in mind, because the liquidity is the key component that gives you the advantage in trading stocks. So hope you guys enjoyed that. If you want to learn more and get more in depth about how to get started trading, check out our free trial at inpennystock.com/free trial. It's going on now as a Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale, so definitely check it out. Again, that's inpennystock.com/free-trial. Okay? Or you can just go check out the homepage and you'll see it there. But if you do have any questions or want to learn more, always feel free to email me at admin, that's ADMIN, at inpennystock.com. Hope to hear from you guys soon. Take care.